I want to bring you some breaking news from Niger. We're getting reports that the French ambassador has left the country. His departure follows a military coup in July that overthrew former President Mohamed Bazoum. Niger's new rulers ended military cooperation with France and ordered its ambassador and troops to leave. Well, we've got Nicholas Hack, who's following developments in Niger from Dakar. First, we're going to go to Natasha Butler, who's in the French capital. How is France reacting to its ambassador being ordered to leave?
Yes, well, first I should say that we are getting reports that the ministerial and diplomatic sources here in France have confirmed that the ambassador has left Niamey. That's being reported by French news agency AFP, because there had been some confusion over that a little bit earlier. And look, for France, you might say it's not a surprise. The French President Emmanuel Macron earlier this week in a television interview said that France would be withdrawing its ambassador, Sylvain Ité, within the coming days, and also withdrawing its 1,500 troops from the country. But all of this, of course, is something of a blow, a climb down by Paris, because for weeks we have been hearing from the French government, from the French president, that it would not give in to the demands of Niger's military rulers, that French troops and the ambassador leave the country. President Macron himself repeatedly saying that as far as Paris was concerned, the military rulers are not the legitimate authority in Niamey, and therefore Paris would not give in to any of their requests or demands. But clearly this is not the case. We have the ambassador on the way. We know that the withdrawal of troops could take several weeks, several months, and all of this just another difficult chapter for France's policy in Africa that has been so battered in recent years, with a number of coups in countries that were once former colonies.
So the French ambassador finally left Niger. He is out, he is gone, and it has been a great win for the people of Niger, because they stood their ground. They didn't give up, and now they've won. But one thing that gets me really thinking is the condescending nature towards the Niger military junta by Emmanuel Macron. You know, when Niger asked this ambassador to move out, Macron openly defied the Niger military junta, openly said that their ambassador will not move out, and that they do not recognize the Niger military junta. They do not recognize them. The only government they recognize is the government of Mohamed Bazoum. Macron said that. And then after a couple of weeks of back and forth fighting, after a couple of weeks of the people in Niger staging protests in front of the French embassy and the French military base in Niger, Macron decided to pull out the troops and also to pull out their ambassador and some staff of the embassy, and said that the embassy was under siege. The ambassador is being taken hostage by the Nigerians. I'm like, how come he's been taken hostage? Isn't that a big lie? Wasn't he asked to leave and you said no, he would not leave? How is it being taken hostage? How can you say someone is being taken hostage when the person voluntarily deny to leave? How can someone be taken hostage when that person was told to go and he said no, he won't go? How can you say that person is has been taken hostage? No, Emmanuel Macron is that kind of guy who would always shift the blame on somebody. That nothing is ever his fault. No, nothing is ever his fault. Everything is other people's fault. He will never ever accept that he did something wrong, or the things he has been doing has caused other things to happen. He will never ever take responsibility for his own actions. Rather, he will sit and complain and push the blame to other people. That's what he would do. So I want us to get through this article real quick, and we can see how the whole process of the ambassador pulling out unfolded. So let's look through the article. French ambassador to Niger leaves as relations nosedive after coup. That the relationship between France and Niger is at its lowest level. French ambassador to Niger arrived in Paris on Wednesday, around a month after the military junta ordered his expulsion, and this after President Emmanuel Macron said the diplomat would be pulled out and French troops withdrawn. Relations between Niger and France, its former colonial ruler, which maintained a military presence in the country to help fight Islamic insurgents, have broken down since army officials seized power in Niamey in July. Why they always say that the reason why the French troops are in Niger is so that they can fight Islamic jihadis in the Sahel. Yes, they do fight that, but the main purpose of those troops in Niger or in the Sahel is not just to fight Islamic insurgency. They are protecting something in the country that they are collecting. The troops there is not just like they are doing something from the goodness of their heart. It's not just like they are like philanthropists, or they are just like this charitable organization who are just going out there helping people. That's not why the troops are there. France was harvesting a lot of uranium from Niger. And in order for them to protect that interest, they had to put troops in Niger. So let's just get this straight. They were not doing a favor to Niger. They were trying to protect their interest in Niger. I think it was the representative of, I think, Mali to the UN said it very clearly that it's quite a shock that most people would think that the Westerners so love Africa, so much so that they are willing to let their sons and daughters die for the sake of Africans, like those troops in Africa. That is quite a shame. People think that he doesn't believe that. And it's a big lie for people to think that France all of a sudden love African people. And they are willing to sacrifice themselves just so they can save the African people. It's quite a big lie. The reason they are in the Sahel, the reason they were in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, was to protect their interests in those countries. That was the only reason. If they had nothing to protect, hadn't been that they are not harvesting uranium from Niger or gold from Burkina Faso or other minerals from Mali, they will not be there. Believe me, they will never ever come there. They will never come there. They were in Africa to protect their interests, not for the African people. It has never happened before. They have never done anything that has been solely for the benefit of the African people. They've never done that. They will never do that. Whatever they've done has been to the benefit of them first, and then by extension, maybe to African people. But they would get enough benefit, like 95% of the benefit is to them, and like 5 or 4% to the African people. It is how it has always been in Africa. So don't let anyone fool you that the so-called the West, they are so nice, so great, and all what they want to do is just to make sure that no African people can live happily, can be safe, can be protected. Do not let anyone fool you. Because if they really want that for African people, if they really, really wanted African people to be happy, they would not supply arms to those insurgency groups in the Sahel, allegedly. They will not stay in Africa for 10 plus years and still unable to tackle the jihadist movement in the Sahel. They will not be in Africa in the name of fighting jihadist movement, whereas those jihadist movements just keep getting larger and larger. So, what are they really doing in Africa? That is the question we should ask ourselves. So, I'm happy for this move that Niger has done. Let them move out and let us re-examine the situation all over again and let us figure out a solution to the problem. Because I believe that what they've done so far hasn't really worked out. And there's no point repeating the same thing. Because like most people will tell you, when you repeat the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome, that is the definition of insanity. I will say this one more time. When you do the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, you are clearly insane. But you guys out there, share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section below. What do you think might be the reason why Macron pulled out his ambassador to Niger now after a month of back and forth fighting? Has he, by some means, struck a deal with the military junta in Niger? Or it was due to popular pressure from the people that made him pull out the ambassador and also set a timeline to withdraw the troops from Niger? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good tweet, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.